Welcome back, and now let's get the show on the road. I think it was Tuesday this week, the new governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kade Fayemi, was sworn in. He was the former, or he is the former Minister of Mines and Steel Development. He became the governor of Ekiti State in a well-attended ceremony. He has said that he's not interested in trial by media, witch hunting, or playing to the gallery. He says we will seek out the truth and lay it before the people. He also listed agriculture, social investment, infrastructural development, and entrenching knowledge economy as the focus of his administration in the next 4 years. Well, he said a lot of other things, which we shall be looking at in the course of this segment, as we are fortunate enough to have with us the Secretary to the State Government, Mr. Oyebanji. Welcome to Sunrise.
Good morning.
And we also have the Chairman of the Transition Committee in Ekiti State, Senator Olubomi Adetunbi.
Thank you for having me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us today. I hope all is going well in Ekiti so far.
So far, so good.
Great, and welcome to the saddle.
Thanks so much.
Now, the governor has said a lot of things, but our focus this morning is going to be where exactly is the governor looking to take Ekiti State in the next 4 years?
Thank you, Alero, and I'm glad that we are here this morning to actually set the agenda for the next 4 years. In his first term in office, he powered the state through an 8-point agenda. But the situation in Ekiti State now requires restoration and reclamation. And as a government, he is coming on board with 4 major agendas of social investment, knowledge economy, agric and rural development, industrial and infrastructural development. This is born out of the analysis of the Ekiti situation in the last 4 years. Ekiti people should expect to see a government that partners with them, a government that respects them, a government that shows compassion, a government that is going to do business with them, a government that will respect them, a government that will bring back the lost values of Ekiti, values of honor, humility, compassion, respect for the elderly, a government that will engage the people in the process of formulation, implementation every time. So we are partnering with them. We have signed a contract with the people on October 16, and we are going to run with that contract. So we are taking Ekiti out of the captivity and to ensure that we have a society that life is more abundant for the people, properties are protected, people get to the highest of their potentials as a people, as a state. That is where we are going.
Okay. One major, should I call it setback, that you seem to have come to is that you have met is the issue of salaries owed. Please correct me if I'm wrong. The information we have is that the state is owing approximately 8 months in salaries.
In one instance, it's 8 months, 10 months, 2 years, depending on the perception of the federal government about your loyalty to the family administration. So it ranges from, the minimum is 8. We have 9. 3 days ago, we had a guy that was on 2 years salary. We had 13 months. So the minimum is 8 months.
How do you intend to deal with this? We're talking about heavy sums of money.
Yeah. Well, in his inaugural speech, the governor said that within the next 1 year, that he believes, God helping us, that we will extinguish this. But as from this month, I will get to the how. As from this month of October, we will not be paying salaries again. We will ensure that salaries appear at one day. How is we are going to ensure that we run a lean government, we block area of wastages, we embark on projects that are necessary, and we concentrate, because social investment in the people, our people, they are our greatest assets. So we need to invest in them to get the best out of them. So as a government, if we expect obligations from them, we must make them happy. So the how is that we are not going to waste resources, we are not going to embark on on a project that has no relevance to the life of the people, no white elephant project, and there's going to be a government by compassion. We have come to serve the people, and we are ready to bear the sacrifice to make this happen.
Okay. He's talking about lean government and all that, but we also hear that infrastructural development is nothing to write home about. So you still have to invest in infrastructure.
Well, I think the idea is to concentrate on what is needed. Okay? What is important, what has direct impact on livelihoods of people. There's a good to do, there's a need to do, and there's a must do. The ability of government to prioritize on the basis of nice to do, good to do, and must do.
Okay.
I think that is what is going to inform those high ticket expenditure of government.
Just hold that thought, please. We need to take a short break. We'll be right back to continue the discussion.
Welcome back. Mr. Oyebanji, Senator Adetunbi talked about certain things. He outlined things to do in terms of prioritizing. Nice to do, good to do, and must do. Yeah. Fantastic idea. Yeah. Now, there are those who will say, it's good to look at things in this order. But then the thing is, what you met on ground. So let me ask in specific terms, how much are the salaries owed? A figure. Is there a figure to it?
We have a total debt portfolio of 170 billion. That's what we met on ground, And in terms of salaries that the former government hold, compilation is going on now. We started MDA briefing on Monday, and it's still going on. I told you that there are some that are owed 8 months, there are 7 months, there are 6 months. So until we finish this conversation and this housekeeping, I'll be able to come to you with the exact figure of salaries. But I know that they hold salaries that ranges from 8 to 2 years. And by next Friday, we should be done with the housekeeping. Then I'll come back to you with the figure.
Senator Adetunbi, you were the chairman of the transition committee, so you got the handover notes.
Well, we were supposed to get the handover note because the traditional role of a transition committee is to find out the state of affairs of government as at the point of transition. Okay? Unfortunately, that did not happen in the case of Ekiti State. Yeah. I wrote a letter in that capacity as the chairman to the sitting governor then, requesting for a meeting, copied the head of service, and wrote a follow-up letter to the head of service, requesting for audience with the MDAs, the ministries, departments, and agencies to come and brief us on the state of affairs. Yeah. Unfortunately, for reasons best known to them, that didn't happen.
And they did not write any handover notes?
I think, now we know that they have a handover note because the ministerial briefing is going on now. We left the ministerial briefing as at the end of the week to come here. And so it's ongoing, but this should have happened with the transition committee, and maybe deepening can then be taking place, further interrogation for details based on what the transition committee found out. But be that as it may, I mean that's in the past. Yeah. The issue is that the transition committee took advantage of that lacuna to engage the people. We started talking to stakeholders because for every department of government, there's an interacting public that we needed to know how did government hit them? What is the net impact government left on them as a basis for advising the incoming government, for setting agenda with the incoming government. So what you have on the table now is the vision of the governor, which the SSG has enumerated. we have the voice of the people,
Yeah.
which is what the transition, committee
Yeah.
busied itself with in the absence of the briefing from government. Very useful information. Just one thing.
Okay.
And then when you add the vision of governor with the voice of the people and the state of affairs of government, you have all the input that a government needs to draw up its agenda and develop a roadmap. And that's what the SSG just said will happen in a couple of weeks. And the promise of the governor was that I will find out what I met, study it, evaluate against my dream and my vision, and come back with to the people with what is doable. And then the contract that was signed on October 16 can then be given life in terms of what is going to be doable based on the deficit on ground, and the resources that are available. And this is going to be the most transparent way to deal with the situation at hand in Ekiti.
Now, what I understand from this, therefore, is that in the absence of handover notes, what you're working with is the information you have got from the people themselves who were supposed to have been impacted by whatever happened before you got there.
Exactly.
So, okay,
But
fine.
the handover notes are now being presented direct